Welcome back to the Nerdrotic channel. My name is Gary Beekler. I am live in San Francisco, California, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com, and it is the Nerdrotic Nooner for Monday. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Hope everybody had a very good Thanksgiving weekend here in the States. Had lots of turkey. I'm sure you're well into your leftovers and your turkey sandwiches and whatever soup mom or grandma or dad made. Who knows? Who knows? But I hope you're all full and back to work, some of you. Hey, I'm sorry, but you got another few days coming up here with the Christmas vacation coming up soon. Mrs. Nerdrotic and Nerdrotic Jr. are still out of town, so I've been running solo here at the household with the dogs for the last 3 or 4 days. And honestly, I was over it after the first day. I'm ready for my family to come back. What is happening, Cameron Hamilton, Mr. B Natural, sculpted leather art by Viking Bitch, Halam899, who is watching for the first time, Pen Farm Girl, Botrek, what's up? Mark Lurzeth, sorry, Mark. Sebastian Simonson, what's up? Cato Roan, Mark Mignata, and who else is here? Steele Johnson, hail Steele Johnson, how's it going? We'll see who else is here. Master Cam is here. And if I forgot anybody, wow, you guys have been here for a while. Mary Ashmead's probably in there somewhere. Tommelfinger, what is up? Good morning, everybody. Okay, so it's been kind of light on the news. So honestly, we had such a good conversation with during the Doctor Who recap yesterday. I almost hated to cut it off, especially with over 200 people watching. But we like to keep those short. So if you definitely want to talk about that, I still have some thoughts on it. Of course, I failed to mention that Alan Cummings was in it as King James, and that just completely blanked out of my head, which is fine. He was the one good thing in it. Also, today, we're going to talk about Worf wanting his own show for Star Trek. And, on the surface, at first, my first thoughts are like, yeah, that sounds great. But then I see that Alex Kurtz is running it. And no more. Let's let it lie for a little while. The reason being is before I burned the Star Trek Discovery Season 1 Blu-ray at the request of a super chat, I ripped the special features so I could watch them and review them. And I spent 2 hours of my life last night that I will not get back watching those special features, taking notes. I'm going to be doing a separate video on this, but I will be bringing up some stuff now because I have to actually do some research, because you know what? I am not a full-on Trekkie or Trekker. I am a huge Star Trek fan. I would say mild Trekkie. Okay. Mild Trekkie. It has been a long time since I've seen some episodes. I have seen them all, seen some multiple times, and I'm currently going through the original series right now, which goddamn. And honestly, I'd never seen it in order. So seeing it in order is cool. It's very cool, and goddamn, I love it. And it's hard to turn it off. It's I've been doing a lot of work getting the comic shop together, alphabetizing comic books. I alphabetized how many boxes? Like 20 long boxes. In a couple hours. I think it's a new record, by the way, but I did it while watching Star Trek too. So that kept me from reading the comics, which is good, which is very good. Also, we got 9,000 subs. 9,000 subs. It's over 9,000. Sorry, I had to do it. Thank you very much, Brent Newman. Thank you for all the congratulations, everybody. Yeah, it's nuts. It seems like it was just yesterday we were happy to have 7,000, and we were, and still am. But that was on the 17th. So in 9 days, we got a little over 2,000 subs. So thank you, Cameron. Thank you for suffering for us, Pen Farm. Yeah, those special features were enlightening, though. Oh man, it really, really. I can't. Yeah, you'll see in the video, but I'll talk about it here. Those special features explain why we got what we got, and I highly recommend, if you have a chance to see them and you want to do the study on this, on like what really happened with Star Trek, like what really happened. It tells you in the special features. Now you have to read between a lot of lines, and you have to a lot of omissions. That's what was the biggest takeaway for me from the Star Trek Discovery special features. What was not in there, which was so much. Brian Fuller, of course, we know he left, but there wasn't a lot of writers being interviewed. It was mainly Alex Kurtzman being interviewed, and you can tell that they focused only on the first 2 episodes. They really didn't show much of the rest of the season, except for one special feature, and they heavily focused on costume and makeup. That's pretty much most of the special features are. Of course, there was a special feature of the women in Star Trek, which was, again, the most enlightening. And I will talk about that in a little bit. Thank you for the super chat. Sculpted leather art by Viking Bitch. The interview with Derek made me so happy. Yes, we have an interview with Derek Robertson that's on the channel that we did Sunday afternoon. And I know a lot of you were busy and stuff. Please check it out. I want lots of clicks on that. Please. I don't ask for you guys for much. I don't. So please check out that interview. That's not something we do often here. I'm not really big on interviews. I'd rather just talk to you guys, but Derek is a friend and he's involved in a show that we will be covering, The Boys, based on a brilliant comic book run. He's also done Transmetropolitan. He's also drawn, a great run of Wolverine with Greg Rucka. He did back in his early days, he did a great run of the New Warriors. He's done so much cool stuff. He is a pros pro. He's been doing this stuff for over 20 years and just an all around good guy, yeah. And I love him, man. Love him like a brother. I am so excited for The Boys, Natalie England too. Yeah. And thank you again, Viking Bitch, for the $2 super chat, all your support and your help during the interview and the questions. You're awesome. Steele Johnson, $2 super chat. Congrats. And for my main man, Vegeta, DBZ rocks. DBZ rocks. Did I say Vegeta right? DBZ rocks. Let's go. I don't know what DBZ is. Am I missing something, Steele Johnson? Thank you for the two. Enlighten me, because it could be, an acronym for something I don't know, which is often. No clicks for you, says Feisty Fan. What's up, Feisty Fan? How's it going? Oh my goodness. So yeah, it's been a weird weekend without the family here. It's been very strange. The dogs are going nuts. They won't leave my side. I have to lock them out of the room, and Maris is sitting by the door right now because she just wants to sit on my lap all the time. And it's like she's like a cat. And it's like, no, I can't do that. It's the reason I got dogs. Bad Robot or Paramount have absolutely nothing to do with STD. CBS messed it up on their own. Botrek. Actually, I hate to, oh man, I know it sounds really pretentious when you start a sentence with actually. So I'm sorry. I apologize for that. There was a lot of Bad Robot involvement with Star Trek. You find out actually within the interview, Kurtzman does say that most, if not all, of the special effects people came from the films, came from the movies. Now, as far as the writing, no, they did not. Bad Robot was not involved in the writing. They were involved in the creation and mapping out of the series, though. But the actual writing was done in the writer's room that was in absolute turmoil and tons of turnover. That's why they didn't interview. They only interviewed one writer and 2 story editors. The main writer, the showrunners who got fired, they were interviewed throughout the whole thing. And one of those showrunners said something that I think is wrong to astronomical levels, but I have to research it. I have to talk to Annie Trekker or Doomcock and get a question answered before I state an opinion on it. A $10 super chat, or no, a 10 euros super chat, which is better than dollars. Brent Newman, 10 pounds for the next milestone. And a pizza. Cheers. Thanks. I've had lots of pizza this morning. Brent Newman, thank you for the 10 pounds. Cheers, my friend. Cheers. You guys are awesome. Dragon Ball Z, Mr. Twisted 72. Thank you very much. I'm sorry. Deduct 2 nerd points from Nerdrotic for not getting the DBZ down. Please keep a record of that, mods. And another super chat from Chris Persia. Congrats on hitting 9,000. Let's make it 10 by December 26th. That would be awesome because thank you, Chris, for the $5 or $5 Canadian dollar super chat. December 28th of last year is when we hit 1,000. So, and I made a trip down to YouTube, which is about 5 miles that way. And I'll do another video from the front of YouTube if that happens. That would be brilliant. I am thankful for what we got. This is way beyond what I ever thought this channel would be. When we started this, it was basically as a backup for our podcast. Didn't take YouTube seriously until about a year ago. And then all of a sudden we started getting a lot of views on our TV reviews. And I mean, a lot of views at the time where we had like 35, 40 subscribers and we had a video hit 1,000 views. And that just blew my mind. And then I started, looking into it. And of course, a lot of help from John Reed and Dennis Bethalkis and Susan Layton, Aaron Bartell, who's an old host of ours, Chris Ortiz, Harry Maldonado. These are all people who've been in and out of the Nerdrotic the office, quote unquote office. Missed the interview. Happy got me back into comics when it came out. Blew my mind. A few friends threw a surprise party for my birthday. Sad I missed it. JD Brisbois, it's okay. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. How old are you? Do you want to say? Happy birthday. What's up, man of action? How you doing? Thank you for the thank you. I'm Dennis was there to help. Thankfully, I'm like really shitty at interviewing. So I wish Susan is, if we ever do any more interviews, Susan will be the one. We are working on one, by the way. We are. But again, that's not something we're going to do often here. And my reasons are that I don't want to. I want to keep the opinions pure. Does that make any sense? I don't want because I'm going to be incredibly biased when it comes to Derek. I'm not going to say anything bad about Derek's work, about the boys, because like I said, I love the guy like a brother, so it has compromised my opinion. And I just don't want to feel like I don't want to worry that I'm going to be pissing somebody off. You can't do that when you do YouTube. You're going to piss somebody off. It's just going to happen. Hopefully they listen to the entire argument and they can agree or disagree, but see that at least we tried to think about our argument before we stated it. I can't say that's going to happen all the time here. Botrek, Midnight's Edge is right about many things. The alternative Trek license extending to SDD is something they were wrong about. I don't crap on them for that, though. No, and I mean, as far as Midnight's Edge, I'll state again, I've talked to Tom and Rob. I've never talked to Andre. And just in my conversations with them, which are a lot, they are straight up guys who would not go out and just say something without double, triple checking a source, putting an article stating where they got if it's a rumor, they'll tell you where the rumor came from. If it's a rumor, they will state it's a rumor or grain of salt. Like I did in the Doctor Who video, you definitely had to take it with a grain of salt. And, even with my Doctor Who video of what they have stated, I have not seen CBS or Paramount come out and contradict that. I've seen articles stating that, but I haven't seen it coming from Kurtzman. Now I could be wrong. I could have missed that. So, but I think it was pretty bold of them, and definitely check out their Nicholas Meyer interview. I think that really is enlightening too, and really good. Yeah. And that even got picked up by some of the entertainment websites. I'll hold back. I was going to say something not nice, but let's try to start out today nice. And we will definitely talk about Doctor Who in a bit. Okay. So I'm just trying to let some people roll in, and thank you for all the congratulations. You guys are freaking brilliant. I'm in such a great mood this morning. I am. Even, I'm pissed off about Doctor Who, and I'm beyond, like, I'm not really mad about Star Trek Discovery anymore. Now it's just kind of, I'm getting out my popcorn and kind of watching, the aftermath of the car accident. I know that sounds dark, but that's where we're at right now. So the special features, one of the things stated in the special features, which I want to read you this quote, if I can read my own writing. And this is from Neville Page, who is one of the costume designers. And he was talking about canon. Okay. So he's talking about, there was a ton of talk about canon, but there was so much like Hollywood double speak that I had to write down all the quotes. It took forever, and that's going to go in the videos. But one of them is talking about how when they approached the Klingons, they wanted to make them a warrior race. They wanted to make them an ancient civilization, and they wanted to. What they did was they said, we identify what the canon is, then we extrapolate and backtrack. And it's like, what? You extrapolate and backtrack and like, and then they try to justify how close they are to canon. And I'm like, my head was spinning at the end of this. So let's see. You could have a decision with the intent for creating a specific look that has evolved from where the design has been. I'm going to read this slowly because none of this, what this guy says, makes sense. So it has evolved from where the design has been, or you can have the cart lead the horse and come up with a cool design. Then you have to use all of the lore, all of the history, backwards engineer it so it is so connected. And then we achieve this. And after he says that, I'm like, what did you just say? So he basically says, we're going to have the cart come before the horse, and that's our canon. And I'm like, so yeah, I'll read again. Or you can have the cart lead the horse and come up with something cool. So basically, fuck the canon. We're going to come up with something cool. And this alchemy design, and I guess this guy was on some, was it Face Off or something like that? Did the guy, he was a judge on Face Off. Neville Page, the guy, he upsold Star Trek. So when they approached him to design the Klingons, you could see this guy's a total salesman. Both him and the other guy from Face Off, because they dropped their company name about 3 times in the special features, which is something I've never really seen before. It almost plays like a commercial for alchemy. And he keeps on talking about all the cutting edge technology they have that they didn't have before. And it sounds like that when they went to the initial meeting, they're like, okay, we're going to make basic Klingons. And as time went on, they're all, oh, we want to add this. And, oh, would you like, for a few extra dollars, we can add some ridges on the head and we can give them an elongated skull that apparently has sensual sensors on the back. Now, I don't know if that's always been a Klingon thing. You'll have to correct me because I don't know. And Klingons, by the way, are very sensual creatures, they said. Yeah, and it just seems like every time they went back to a meeting, they upsold them on something else. Well, hey, for $10 more, you can have samurai gear on, and it's so over detailed and so busy. They show every bit of the costume. Now, yes, there have been warrior races. Yes, they like to decorate their costumes, but to the point of where it loses practicality, I don't know. And it just looks like they didn't pay attention to the guy and they just let the guy do whatever he wants. And if you're an artist, you can't blame them. You're going to do whatever you want, especially if you're given a ton of money, no supervision, and you make these Klingons that are unrecognizable. You see how thick the goddamn makeup is on their face. It's like that thick. So when I do the video, I'll have more quotes for that. That was one that I was like, what the fuck were you just saying? And he wasn't the only one. It seemed like they had gotten together and we're going to really explain the canon by saying we're going to backtrack and extrapolate and do a 1-2-zy and a cart before the horse and find a bird in the hand is 2 in the bush and Klingons. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. And that was just the makeup people. The Kurtzman's quotes, I got to say for the video, they're gold. They're gold. He is Kurtzman, like J.J. Abrams, is a very good salesman, politician, and that's how you succeed in today's Hollywood. Merit really has little to do with it. They have a ton of money behind them, and it's bad robot. It is freaking bad robot. And a couple other things I noticed while I was watching is they really only focused on the first 2 episodes. They really go, they did one special feature at the end that went through the entire season, but it was just like little snippets, but they focused on the first 2 episodes and they had the 2 writers on that they fired. And oh man, okay. But yeah, I can't get into that, but, so in those 2 episodes, I noticed that everybody looked like they were walking uphill. The Dutch angles were so hard. It looked like Michael Burnham's like walking uphill all the time, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, because I actually didn't watch Star Trek Discovery on my big screen TV. I watched it on my computer screen. And when you see it on the big screen TV, by the way, Alex Kurtzman likes to wear a lot of lipstick in his interviews. Just saying, it's really noticeable on a 4K TV. And yeah, and then they showed that scene where Philippa Georgiou and Michael Burnham beam down to the Klingon sarcophagi ship to capture T'Kuvma, the T'Kuvma, the unforgettable, who got forgotten because he was killed. Sorry, spoilers. They went down by themselves, and maybe I covered this in the recap. It was a long time ago. I'm like, where are the red shirts? Like they sent the captain and the first officer with no security to go capture a 400-pound Klingon, maybe 450. I mean, he's got all his armor on. Plus, he had people there, although it was kind of an empty Klingon ship. There was only like 4 Klingons walking around. And yeah. Now, yes, one of them did end up dying. Okay, so we can have that. But yeah, shaking my head at that show. Let's get to the chat. Nuke bad robot with holy fire of Doomcock. The rage of 10,000 suns. Is that how he does it? That's how he does it. He said he might be working on. I really want him to talk about Ballad of Buster Scruggs. I saw him do a tweet. He said something about an in-depth analysis. I am looking forward to that. That's what he does so well. And that movie is worthy of it. If you haven't seen it, it's good. It's good. It's on Netflix. Ballad of Buster Scruggs. It's a Coen Brothers movie. What's up, Lamac? How's it going? How's it going? I want to apologize to Lore Reloaded. I saw a tweet this morning. I only hit my Twitter like once a day, and I saw some reply. Somebody was nice enough to shout us out to him, and he's like, "Oh, I love Nerdrotic, but I've been rebuffed a couple times, so I apologize for rebuffing you. I didn't realize I rebuffed you, but if I did, I'm sorry. Lore Reloaded is awesome. I love his singing voice, and as I said in the tweet, I'm still waiting for him to tell me about Jesus. Still waiting, buddy." Am I a David Lynch fan? Asked Silhouetted Animator. I am, but I am not a fan of the newest Twin Peaks. Not a fan. I'm like the nerd. What? Man of action, Gary. You're a natural. Don't sell yourself short. You're like the nerd Phil Donahue. I'll have to look up my Phil Donahue rants. I remember watching him when I was like ditching school and really stoned. He kind of started it all, that whole late 90s, early 2000s talk show thing. That was weird. You must have a high IQ from countless hours of Big Bang Theory to understand that quote. This is not the chosen one. Unfortunately, I did not watch hours. I think I watched 10 minutes of Big Bang Theory. Not a fan. But Mom Nerdrotic number 1, long story. I have 2 moms, loves the show. What was the reason for the Axanar fracas? Man of Action, I don't know if you're responding to that. The reason was they made something better than CBS could make, and that is why they were sued. Plus, there was the little issue of them probably making some money off it. I think they crowdfunded like $1 million. But if it all goes back into the production, I don't know. That's what things get crazy. I don't know. I side with the Axanar people. I think if people on their own want to make something of your property, it's a win. It's an absolute win. Even if it turns out better than what you produce, it means people still love your stuff. All they're going to do is drive all those people to other shows. I mean, that creativity is not going to go away. They're going to take that passion and like do a Farscape thing or do a Expanse thing or yeah, they'll just take it somewhere else. So the changes in the Klingons were creative. Yes, that's basically how what they kept on saying. The makeup people and the costume design people kept saying was they would say the word canon to make sure that that was given lip service, and then they would talk about, well, we really looked at the canon, and we looked back at it, and then we wanted to make something cool. So that was it was always followed up with, we have technology to make something cool. So they didn't really argue that their stuff was close to canon. They just said, we looked at it, and then our stuff is cooler, and it's not. And it's not. And not to personally judge anybody, but I'm guilty of this too. I draw, I do art, and one of the things I had to do in my art, one of the hardest lessons I had to learn was too much, being too busy. I like to throw everything in, and it's self-editing. It's like looking too busy. Learning how to minimize is an important thing in art. Hold back a little bit. um, and there's so many great artists who need editors. uh, Quentin Tarantino is a great example of a great artist who needs an editor, and when he has a good editor, he's great. He's great. Terry Gilliam. Terry Gilliam's brilliant. Doesn't listen to anybody. Gets a little too busy with stuff sometimes, but when he's on, he's on. He's like he's still my favorite director. But sometimes he needs somebody telling him to hold back a little bit. But they were saying it was a creative decision, and mostly saying, I don't know how they could argue that the bridge. I saw, you finally see a picture of the bridge with all that dark lighting and stuff, and it doesn't look anything like a Star Trek bridge. And I wish I could remember the YouTuber. I'll put the link in the description. I was watching a video. It was a great video of a guy doing an analysis basically how they shot the old Star Trek and how they shoot the new Star Trek, and basically explaining why it doesn't feel like Star Trek, and it's the way it's shot. Period. End of story. And we're used to it being shot a certain way, and they were very consistent from the original series right up through Enterprise. It's this drastic change that has some people upset, and this guy obviously knew a lot about setting up a shot, lighting, all that stuff. I will find the video. It's long and it's good. It's really good. Yeah. Oh, Man of Action. Yes. Midnight's Edge. That's kind of what got me into the whole Star Trek Discovery, you know, situation, was the Midnight's Edge video that came out prior to the series explaining the differences between Paramount and Viacom, which I've heard some denials on that, but even when you see the making of the costumes and like them, one costume designers had a dream and decided to wake up to and put all the ranks on the badge, and just did it. So I guess they went away from that in the original series. 25% dilithium copyright difference. Ugh, says D Penzac. How's it going, D Penzac? Really, really bad robot. Should be awful huckster's robot. Yeah. As I've said before, if you watch the TED Talk of J.J. Abrams, I'm sure many of you have seen it, and he explains the mystery box. It is snake oil. It's freaking snake oil. Hey, hats off to the guy. He's a salesman, but I can see him like pulling a cart around in the old West, going, "We got a mystery box here," and the box is empty. He's all, "Oh, but your journey to figuring out what was in the box and thinking about what was in the box. Well, that's what it was all about. It's not really important what's actually in the box." No, what's in the box? Did they answer if Klingons have two buttholes, Gary? Asked Mako. They did not. No. No, they did not. I think Tom had said, somebody else had said, it wasn't me, said somebody had admitted to not watching all of Star Trek. Now, Admittedly, there was a couple of special features I started fast forwarding through, like Jeff Russo's music for Star Trek. I actually like Jeff Russo. He does the soundtrack for Counterpart and Legion. He's really good. So I didn't want to see him associated with Star Trek Discovery, so I fast forwarded through his stuff. But I didn't hear anybody say that. But I heard something equally as bad, if it's the case. So I have to fact check on that one before I say anything, though, because I could be wrong. Like I said, like as far as Deep Space Nine, it has been a few years since I've seen an episode of Deep Space Nine, and it's concerning the Dominion War. So, is Captain Robert April in the house? I'll ask the question here. Because it's a matter. It's a kind of a subjective question. But those of you who have maybe recently watched the complete series of Deep Space Nine, would you say any of the series focused on the Dominion War? Or was there just some? Would you? And again, it's opinion. Would you say did any of those series actually focus on one thing throughout the entire season? Uh, that Master Cam, that might have been it. Vic Mignogna from Star Trek Continues talking about the way it was filmed. Maybe it was a video where it's like he broke down the scenes and drew all the blocking and everything in it. That might have been it. I honestly didn't know who was doing it, but it was a great video. Francis Washington, Stephanie, I'm supporting Crystal Renee 420. We grind hard, almost 900 in 3 months. 900 what? Subs? My phone's going off right now. Mystery Box, his wife hates it when it calls it. Yeah. Is JJ married? I don't know if JJ's married. And I've already, talked about, the great Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers was doing a live stream, and he was talking about, I don't understand why JJ gets the reputation of not finishing. And he made a point of, literally JJ has finished everything he has started as far as like directing a singular movie and stuff, but it's Bad Robot. So he's associated with Bad Robot. Bad Robot's associated with being really, good at setting up an idea and then not following through. Like with Alias, they set up, pretty solid first season, right? But then Lost came out, and it seems like all their attention went to Lost. And then, towards the end of Lost, all their attention went to, Mission Impossible, and then Star Trek started out, and then they went somewhere else, and they went to Star Wars. So they're really good at selling an idea, getting it made, and then not finishing it, because Mystery Box 7 is a good movie. You want to talk about subverting your expectations? Oh yes, that's the other thing they said. Christian Bear said it in the special features that we are. I'm paraphrasing here. We set out to subvert expectations. I was waiting for that. I was like, I'm going to hear it. I know I'm going to hear it, and I heard it. So I was like, okay. It's almost like they all get together, like all the big powers to be, and map this stuff out. But there is a connection between Star Wars and Star Trek that we all know. Bad Robot. Destiny Captain. Okay, so yes, they do hint at the Dominion in season 1. The Visitor, best DS9 episode to me, most likely of any Star Trek series. There you go. I've got a bunch of quotes written by the 2 showrunners who got fired, and again, I got to fact check all of them because I honestly don't know. Which means, oh darn, I have to go back and watch some Star Trek. Shucks, it's so hard, this job. Bad Robot needs a restraining bolt. Yes, it does. Deep Penzak for sure. Ryan Johnson should trademark subverting expectations. Many people seem to use that now. They do. He should. He should, and that's what he's going to be. That is his legacy. Oh man, you can't control what your legacy is going to be, as much as you'd like to. Um, when the history books are written, are they going to look kindly at Ruin Johnson? No, they're not. My Life is a Bad Robot. Especially when expectations equal a good movie. Yeah. Well, we all know that's just a BS saying. Um, it, it's okay to bring in new, fresh faces to a property. I get it. I that needs to happen. Honestly, that's how we got Star Trek 2. Brought Nicholas Meyer in, young, fresh face, uh, made a movie that was cheaper than the motion picture, that was better. I just watched it 2 nights ago, and freaking spoilers, Spock dies at the end. That still gets me. It still to this day gets me. And especially seeing the movie with older eyes now, and you could see that they had time constraints, and Ricardo Montalban and William Shatner never share screen time, which always kind of bugged me just a teeny bit. If I have one complaint, that's it. But otherwise, a perfect movie. For me, it's right up there with Empire. And actually, I would probably go back and watch. Listen, nothing against Star Wars, the original trilogy, but I would go back and watch Wrath of Khan again before I watched Empire again, just because I've seen Empire so many times. And Wrath of Khan is just a perfectly paced movie. The fucking music is brilliant. It's got a great soundtrack. I love the Star Trek theme in there. That music at the end, oh man, just gets you. Honors, whoa. He was the most human. Yeah, Savik's little tear at the end. Oh man, punches you right in the gut. God damn it. Hello, Morgan. How are you? Ruin Johnson is a mix of Mr. Krabs and Cartman. He is. I like Mr. Krabs. Voiced by the great Clancy Brown. Ooh, muddy. Oh my God. Those first I need an adult, says OG Spock. Love, what do you need an adult for? I need an old priest and a young priest. James Horner, Destiny Captain. God damn. James effing Horner. And he did the 48 Hours soundtrack too. And they sound, every composer does this when they have soundtracks that are within a couple of years of each other. They sound a little bit alike. The 48 Hours soundtrack, top notch. That's one of my favorite all time movies, 48 Hours, Walter Hill. Just a great cop buddy movie, great action movie. James Remar is a perfect bad guy. By the way, that's who I cast as Wolverine. If they were going to do an X-Men movie in the 80s, in the early 80s, James Remar as Wolverine. I used to, when I was a young nerd, as opposed to an old nerd, I would draw fake movie posters and cast my X-Men movie. God, I can't remember who I had Cyclops. I had Albert Finney as a Professor X. Going through the chat air. Oh, Mr. B Natural corrects me. I am sorry. Gary, you watched the wrong one. Kirk dies now. Spoiler alert. Yeah, man. Ugh. And I like the 2009 Star Trek movie, but now I'm starting to hate it just because of the cast is good. I love Carl Urban and everything, but it's the reason we have what we have now. Because it made money. Flat out, it made money. I don't think Star Trek is the IP that CBS thinks it is and Paramount thinks it is. It's got limited range. It's got limited reach, and I hate to say that, but and maybe if you just accept that and are good with the fact that we have this limited reach that we can grow slowly instead of trying to make it Star Wars, it would have worked better. Because now you just burned everything out. You got to put it back on the shelf for a few years before you can reboot it again. And the canon that so many people took so much time to cultivate and get right. It wasn't perfect. Okay, there was lots of it but still they managed to make this great story for 50 years, and they screwed it up. They couldn't even get the 50th anniversary right. JD Brisbois says Undiscovered Country is greater than Wrath of Khan. I do not agree, but I love Undiscovered Country. Okay, that is a damn good movie. Must have been your life's ambition. Like your Venture Brothers DVDs are in the same place, but I can't see the season 1 skull anymore. What happened? New DVDs? No, that's my book. That's my Venture Brothers book. So my DVDs are actually behind. I have a chair behind me so story of this chair is this is where I was supposed to sit. It was going to be a whole setup. I was going to be in a comfy chair, having a cup of pizza and having a relaxing conversation. Then I realized I'm not a relaxing person. I don't fucking sit back and relax and do shit. But here. Yeah. Oh, and my goddamn Enterprises fell down. I was they were hanging above me, and I was putting on my shirt. My arm hit it, and luckily I caught my Enterprise. But yeah, they're behind that chair. My Venture Brothers. Wow, 200 watching. That is freaking cool. And we haven't even got to Doctor Who yet. We'll get to Doctor Who. We will get there. I've seen Wrath of Khan more times than I can remember. Over 100, says Philip A. Demick. I only saw Into Darkness at the theater. I expect to get my money's worth. They subverted my expectations. Mission accomplished, right? Well, and another thing they did in the video is, which relates directly to a Doctor Who video that is coming out from us. We've got 2 videos coming out probably Tuesday. Because Mrs. Nerdrotic is coming home tonight, so I'm going to delay that a day. And they both made it crystal clear that their priority was to check off some boxes before they actually went into making the show. The special features go into how they were rushed, how they started building sets before they were done designing them. And then the guy who designed the ship, they have this whole special feature on him. And then he goes, yeah, halfway through I left. And then he made the excuse that I was away from home for too long. I'm all, oh, really? So they really, they did a casting special feature that focused on, guess who? Michael Burnham. Oh, they did Saru too, but nobody else. They didn't do Jason Isaacs or anybody else. And all the special features that aren't about costumes are all about Michael Burnham and how they, especially a Star Trek special feature focusing on what Star Trek has done for years, which is diversity and inclusiveness and and that's all they cared about. That was their first priority. And it's good to have it in your mind, but I think your first priority should be to make a science fiction TV show. And the biggest omission from these special features, folks, you never heard the phrase science fiction uttered once. In 2 hours of special features, nobody put the 2 words together, science and fiction. As a matter of fact, not many people talked about Star Trek and their love of the show. Very few. A couple of the production designers and the guy who designed the ship who ended up leaving. And they just they showed some mirror of course, because they went into the mirror universe in season 1. But yeah, that's one of the biggest omissions is we didn't bring up science fiction, but the diversity and inclusion are said multiple times, but science fiction not said once. So yeah, it's the omissions from the special features that are most enlightening to me. And Kurtzman, man, if you guys can find him online, if you guys can watch him on YouTube or something like that, if you could stand it, maybe take a ibuprofen beforehand, and if you drink, maybe have a drink. Don't drive though. Maybe spark one. But yeah, a few years ago there was a big shindig about the set designs for Star Trek through the years, and Herman Zimmerman some of the guys from the movies and the schmuck from JJ Trek. This is Captain Robert April. Yes. Well, Khan is such an underrated villain. He is. Is he underrated? Um, when I watched Wrath of Khan, I made sure to watch Space Seed first, which I've done many times. But Ricardo Montalban is a man's man. Take codeine. No, don't take codeine. Codeine's highly addictive. OG Spock love. Please don't. Kurtzman is a total tool, my opinion, and you're entitled to it, KSS. It's all right. Opinions are good here. We like opinions. Smoke some weed, pass out, and miss it, says OG Spock love. Yes, they stole Kirk, Uhura, Ascati, and McCoy bragging rights to the first mirror universe. Screw STD, says Joker S79. Oh, I isolated something. God, I hope this does. Yeah, I probably shouldn't play it. I'll save it. The makeup guy basically saying, "We're just getting started," and they cut the scene where he's all, "Oh, we had so much fun on season 1, and we're just getting started." And the next cut was all the Klingons screaming, the death scream, which was hilarious. But you got to see it because it really plays like, no, don't, no more Star Trek Discovery. So codeine is nothing, Travis. Well, I know. I might have done quite a few drugs in my past. Okay. Did they mention fan fiction? No. Although that's how Star Trek Discovery plays, especially the ending, Alan Sparks. The end where Michael Burnham gets an award after her treason and gets reinstated. She gets her medal, and then for some reason just goes into the preachiest speech about we don't give in to fear. We say no to fear. Chances of Kirk showing up at the end of season 2, 80%. I'll give it a mention. Oh, he'll probably get mentioned this season. If this gets a third season, they're bringing in Kirk. I promise you, they're bringing in Kirk. I don't know. The hunky, chunky, funky monkey. By the way, you got your Y back, buddy. I'm sorry about that in our Patreon video. Now I got to fix Matthew Madsen's. I take what's gabapentin and as Kurtzman is required something a lot stronger. I don't know what those are. I can't even pronounce them. Paractamol, strong stuff. But you have health stuff going on, right? So that's okay. Why didn't they? You'd think that they would at the very least discuss sci-fi and how Star Trek was groundbreaking for its time. So does that mean it was just a job for them? They talked about it being groundbreaking as far as the inclusivity, but then they said we're more inclusive. And they went out and said they made it a point to cast. I mean, they didn't say this word for word, but if I paraphrase, Sneak with Martin Green said the way the producers went about casting it was to cast it the way they did, and it was deliberate. So that was on their mind before actually fitting a character. They talked about the casting of Sneak with Martin Green and that they didn't even bother listening to her reading. They just knew she was the right one. And my response to that is maybe you should have listened to her do her read first. The only thing, man, when they show Doug Jones, that's the only part I get, because I like Doug Jones, and I'm not going to not like Doug Jones because he's in this. He's taking a job, he's taking a paycheck, but Doug Jones is brilliant in my book. So one of the greatest creature actors ever. And honestly, a great actor, one of the greatest actors ever. If you can convey emotion through mushroom penis looking makeup, that's good. But he's also brilliant in so many other things. So I love Doug Jones and Abe Sapien. He's Abe Sapien. Tamarox. Whoa, $50 freaking super chat tip jar. What's up, my man? Hail Tamarox. Good to see you. How's it going? It's good to see Tamarox. Holy shit. Wow, that throws me. Thank you, my friend. Tamarox, can I ask you a question? Are you still there? Were you the one who because I don't want to like associate something if you were, but I wrote it down and then I lost the note. So I thought it was you who requested the destruction of the Star Trek Discovery Blu-ray, but I could be wrong. But if it was you, I want to give you credit. And if you don't want to trade credit, then just don't answer. The Filthy Farmer, what's up? How's it going, Filthy Farmer? That was a nice thing you said on Twitter. I really appreciate that. He said some nice stuff about us. What's the new Robert Picardo series in the work? A new sci-fi comedy? I don't know. I know he was on The Orville, which cannot come back soon enough. Why you came? He is Abe Sapien. Yeah, I'm glad they kept Abe Sapien out of this Hellboy reboot sequel, whatever the hell it is, unless they're going to have Doug Jones play. Well, I mean, honestly, yeah, I've heard not good things about the Hellboy movie, which sucks because Hellboy is one of my favorite comic book characters. I love Doug Jones, but he really takes some crappy jobs. He does. Man's got to pay his bills, though. Doug Jones is the best part of this turd fest. He is. He as Saru is the most well-developed character. I mean, I don't know. I don't like Stamets. Stamets is kind of annoying to me, but wow, the touch of arrogant on them, eh? To throw shade at the original series and prop themselves up at the same time. Oh, the arrogance is you could cut it with a spoon. It's so freaking thick, Jody. Sinequa Martin Green referring to herself in the third person again. It sucks I can't show clips, but she said something to the effect referring to herself. Okay. She goes, and you know, the actual sentiment of it, I don't have a problem with. Okay. I don't have a problem with having a female lead. I don't have a problem with having a black female lead. Not at all. It's Star Trek. That's cool. No problem. It's the execution that I have a problem with. But in the interview, she goes, I really admire, and I'm paraphrasing, I really admire the brave choices the creators of the show made to make the right decision of casting a black female lead. And I'm like, you know, you're talking about yourself, right? Okay. Actors. We had Jodie did something like that too. Jodie Whittaker talked about how Doctor Who is, taking the issues and they're pushing them forward because we all watch Doctor Who to learn stuff about the world. No. And oh my God, the Star Trek special features were filled with this is the perfect show for these dark times. And I'm like, oh my God. Youngsters. And we're at a generation now who might have not had grandparents from the Depression. All right. I did. I had a dad who grew up at the very end of the Depression. These are not dark times, folks. Lighten up, Francis. Let's get where Tamrock's. Oh my God, the chat is going so fast. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get as much as I can, folks. Going back up. Bad robot Russian bot, says Brian Smart. What's up? What's up, Brian Smart? Good to see you. Good to see you. If I miss something, please don't hit at Nerdrotic channel so I see it, and then it's okay to put it in twice if you if it's missed. Let me see, Kato. I'm gonna double check that. I think you put the link in. Yes, that's it. That is it. And it's by Katalski or something like that. So yeah, Kato just put in the video. That's the one I was I was looking at. I thought it was a good video. Thanks, Kato. Appreciate it. Who did I cast for Jean Grey? Oh, I can't remember. I'm gonna have to remember that. Clancy Brown is great, and everything he does, even when he only gets 2 seconds of screen time, right, from Ballad of Buster Scruggs. Who would? Oh God, who did I cast as Jean Grey? As Marvel Girl? It would have been a famous redhead at the time. I'm gonna have to say it was. Oh, I'm forgetting her name. She played Lana Lang in Superman 3. She was in 48 Hours as well. Probably not a great Jean Grey, but she was redheaded. So, Gary, I think it's safe to say Wrath of Khan, Voyage Home, and Undiscovered Country were good movies with the OG Star Trek characters. They're great, and they were all one movie. And I like how they all kind of blended in. And yeah, that Voyage Home is very dated. I still love it. It's filmed in my hometown. Well, that's not my hometown. I live here now, San Francisco. My hometown is San Diego. I'm from San Diego, and I will always be a SoCal. 100% SoCal. Happy 9000 says intelligent flatulence. Thank you. Thank you. The intelligent flatulence. And, Ian Batchelor says 1982 was a good year for films. It was a great year. It was I was 12 in 1982, and it was freaking brilliant. What do I think about the Secret Six coming to CBS? It's weird that it's not going to be on the DC streaming service, Silhouetted Animator. But I like the Secret Six. It's a damn good comic. It has been in the past. I haven't read it lately, but the Secret Six from right around time the Rand Thanagar War and stuff was going on back in the mid 2000s. That was good stuff. Thank you for tweeting the video. I did not see the Nicholas Meyer quote you posted. Could you repost it there, Destiny Captain? Sorry, I didn't see that. And I'm looking to see if the only good forced diversity is the Justice League animated TV show. They removed Hal Jordan and replaced him with a far more interesting and underrated Jon Stewart. Not the chosen one. Yes, Jon Stewart is far more interesting than Hal Jordan. Always has been, always will be. And yeah, there's no need to force diversity. You just make a good show and you cast the best people for it. And you know what? Have a larger, for lack of a better term, casting net. We did not cast the people in your shows. We have not been we, the fans, don't cast anything. We don't write anything. We don't make any decisions. It's you in Hollywood who do that. So yeah, just worry about yourselves. And they just project a lot, those people in Hollywood. Quite frankly, they talk about bullying a lot in the special features. When I worked in Hollywood, my brief time there, about 2 years, I was the worst bullying of people I've ever seen in my life. They have bullying down to perfection. It's an art in Hollywood. So coming out all against bullies, bullshit. So I saw multiple people reduced to tears by management at Technicolor, fucking yelling at them, screaming at them. Yeah. And at the time, I said something once, and it was really, it was not very strategic to do that. I got on somebody's bad side automatically, but I don't know. They never yelled at me because I would have freaking popped them in the face if they'd done that. I wouldn't have taken that shit. But no, they did. They usually don't yell. They usually find they yelled at a lot of women. I saw a dude get reduced to tears. Yeah, I'd have popped him in the mouth if they had done that. Especially back then, I was not in the greatest headspace. But that's also why they put me on the night shift, and I wasn't around a lot of people. Oh man, it was nasty though. Nick Meyer doesn't really like Trek. I've heard that. Manweller1 says 82. I was 11, so we're around the same age. There you go. So you're 48. I'm 49. Tamarox, it was you who. Okay. So I did give you props in the video then. I got it right. I thought it was you. So thank you for the super chat. I have carried through with your request. I know that you have requested other YouTubers to do the same. So I look forward to them. I don't want to call them out just in case they don't want to do it. I understand. Listen, I got some shit for destroying the video. And honestly, I honor my requests. Okay. So I've caught up a little bit more in the chat that we're going to talk about. At the absolute worst Star Trek is plaid pants golf course that Lucifer season 4 would much different tone. Huh? Oh, I'm sorry. I mixed up two chats. That was weird. Chloe Decker's actress revealed in a very recent interview that Lucifer season 4 will be much different in tone and closer to the comic series. That's what I heard at Comic-Con. Silhouette and Animator. That is weird. I started reading somebody's chat, and then I went to the other. That was, oh, wow. At its absolute worst, Star Trek is a plaid pants golf course Republican version of future where white men, what? Oh, is that his quote? Okay. I don't agree with that, except for the plaid pants part. No. The well-dressed man. Francis Washington, hey nerd, thank you for your platform. I supported and rung your bell. Thanks. I'm just here to get my numbers up. And Crystal Renee 420, and we will check out Crystal Renee 420. Is that a YouTube? Is that a YouTube page? Let me check it out. Check it out. And then I'll give you guys a slight preview of kind of what I'm going to be. Oh shit. Here, I'll do that in a second. I don't want to. I can't do two things at once right now, but I will check it out. If that is a YouTube channel, I will go check it out. It's the best way to get your numbers up is get involved in other communities, but don't oversell, don't overself promote. I don't mean to should you. This is how I would approach a genuinely go into a community you like and hang out there and talk a lot to a lot of people and let it happen naturally. But shouting out once in a while is totally cool, and it's totally cool in this chat. I don't mind it at all. I have gotten a lot of shout outs from other YouTubers, and I'm grateful for that. And I am more than happy to do it for others, but I do have to, check out the channel. Don't forget to press that like. Thank you, Tommy Holly. There's what we like to say here. Lick that button. Wash it off first. Now I can't stop thinking about Caddyshack. Plaid pants is Mr. B Natural. Now I know why tigers eat their young. Are you going to eat your fat? Will Constantine crossover with Lucifer? I wonder if it could. Jody, that would be really good. That'd be really, really good. What's no on? Does that say no? What's underage? What's no on 18? What do I think? Are they starting to do that with channels again? They're starting to throw on you have to be over 18 to watch the video stuff. Yeah. YouTube's been doing that for a while. That damn gopher says, yeah, I know. Right. All right. So, with Doctor Who, a very similar thing. I read a very similar thing that what they stated in the Star Trek Discovery videos, which is it was very important to have some boxes checked off before. Well, yeah. We'll also I won't forget about Michael Dorn either. wanting to be in his own Star Trek series. I was reading a review from Radio Times on last night's Doctor Who, and they're even starting to turn on it a little bit now. Radio Times has gosh dang, where is it? Radio Times has not been nice to Doctor Who in the past. It's not a 100% shill. It's mostly a shill site for Doctor Who. But last night, they were reviewing the episode, and they even say at the end, basically that, well, you got all the boxes checked off. Here's what they wrote. I'll share it with you guys, because this is kind of what we've been saying this whole time. It can't be said enough, because people deny this stuff. Okay. I had high hopes for a story written and directed by a woman with a female lead, a fabulous actress as chief villain, and an award-winning star who happens to be gay as a monarch mooted to be gay. I don't know if King James I was thought to be gay. Actually, I heard a lot of royals have been in the past. Doesn't really matter. But as a product, the Witchfinders doesn't coalesce into an intoxicating potion, some vital magic ingredients, and I can't quite put my finger on what were not sprinkled into the cauldron. So you can't put your finger on it, huh? But you just stated what the problem was. That the priority is what sexual organs the director had, who people like to sleep with had to play a character. Nothing about like how good they are at acting or how good they are at telling a story. Again, I'm not saying replace these roles with men. I'm not. That's not what I'm saying at all, ever. Keep the cast the same way. Just give us a good goddamn story. Okay. And we're 8 in. I have not enjoyed any of these episodes at all. I was hoping to get won over by this show. I really was. I'm a huge fucking Doctor Who fan. Yeah, I could say I'm a legit Whovian. So at least I am, but I can't support this. And I have been accused of not being a real fan, which I will retort. Now, I hate to use the sports ball reference, but I used to be a huge football fan. San Diego Chargers were ripped out of the San Diego, my hometown. I am no longer a fan of the NFL. Fuck the NFL. But like when my team sucked, I didn't just go, oh, well, we're still the best. We're just subverting your expectations by losing. No, you suck. You suck. And you got to call it out for a second. I'm glad to see the Radio Times, at least I saw that the actual episode sucked. There were some good performances in it. Like Alan Cummings is great in everything he does. Okay. He was a brilliant Nightcrawler, by the way. And he was even approached to be Doctor Who at one point, the Doctor, I mean, and for fuck's sake. It's seeing that you can't put your finger on it. You just answered your own question prior to that. That's all. Yeah, I hope I make it clear enough. I am not asking to have more white dudes or anything and anything. I just want it to be better. I don't care who plays what. If I was that kind of person, believe me, San Francisco would be the worst place on earth to live. Period. But I like to think I have common sense. I don't know. I don't know if I actually do. Okay. You'll have to ask Mrs. Nerdrotic about that. But and that's go Bears. If you say go Bears here, Mike, it's a whole new meaning. It's a whole different meaning. Go down to Folsom Street and say go Bears. See what happens. Just kidding. Yes. Yeah, that, I mean, and I'm going to do it. They decide this is a tease, and I'm sorry it's a tease, but they use Radio Times, being the BBC, as a bit of an outlet for a PR firm. And they use other outlets, but Radio Times seems to be the main one. man, did they throw Moffat under the bus. They bus drove poor Moffat to the point where I'm going to have to defend him. I'm going to have to defend Stephen Moffat, which is, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about that, but considering the whole Christmas bullshit that's going on and, just political correctness is the death of art. She wore blue velvet. I know, right? Somebody like a David Lynch is going to have to check himself before he, could you see David Lynch having any restrictions on anything he does? I mean, he's one of those guys who doesn't he's just going to do what he does. And that's what I want all artists to do. Of course, there has to be some restrictions and editors, but I want the core of the story to be art. I want it's like, we need to entertain. I'm trying to help protect escapism because I'm a big fan of escapism. I think escapism is really important in our lives. We need to be able to turn our brains off once in a while because they throw so much fucking shit at us. That's why I don't watch the news, honestly. And I believe me, I'm a happier person because of it. I just don't watch it. It doesn't affect me. And there's not much I can do about any of it. I pay attention to local stuff, but when I want to turn my brain off once in a while, and I've said it before, even in the darkest times of my life, I had Hitchhiker, and I had my little, my little Walkman, and I'd put in my Hitchhiker cassette, which was basically just a cassette recording of the album version. Listen, I wore that thing out. Again, I had really, really dark times in my adolescence. And there was a lot of times I needed just to switch off the horror of what my life was. And it helped. It really helped. And I'm thankful for it. I fucking miss Douglas Adams so much. I see sports talk in here. We don't want to, man, you want to see viewers go away. You start talking about sports. No way. Most OG Star Trek movies were good stories wrapped in a Trek skin. Yeah. The Star Trek movies, I love them all, even the bad ones. And I don't know if it's still going on, but Amazon had, they're going to be re-releasing the movies in February. I don't know if that's 4K or not, but they had a Blu-ray set that was like 40 something bucks. Nab that sucker. Yep. That's why I think Grand Theft Auto gets so much hate. It's pure escapism with no limits. I still don't play it though. And the Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey, I'm right there with you. Grand Theft Auto should exist, should not be restrained in any way, shape, or form. I choose to not play that game because I would not get any enjoyment out of it, but I do not prescribe that video games and music and all that stuff makes people go do bad things. Abuse, bad childhoods, substance abuse, mental illness causes people to do bad things. And sometimes people are just bad. And again, that could be from a lot of things. But yeah, I'm not a gamer anyway, but I wouldn't play a game like that. But if you want to, go ahead, because I don't think you're gonna go out and hurt somebody. And if you're gonna be the kind of person who goes out and hurts somebody, you would have done it anyway. No game is gonna help or hurt that. It's funny how the millennials cry women, but fail to research the history to see the original showrunner and driving force was women. Exactly, Brian. That's the whole point of this goddamn thing. Is like there was women involved with Star Trek when there was no women, and when it was a real freaking big deal. And sure, there needs to be more women writers and women creatives behind the scenes, but I think some of the reason for that was just interest. Maybe there's more women interested in it now, so therefore we will get more women writing and stuff. It's a matter of interest. You can't just bring in somebody who wrote the Gilmore Girls. Yeah, there's one quote in there where during the women's special feature that they Christian Bayer says, I became aware of a situation where we were breaking for lunch, and it was four of us in there, and we were finishing up one script, and this might be the first time or she says this was the first time in history that women were in charge of Star Trek, which they really weren't, because they were just writing. They have editors, and they have Alex Kurtzman to answer to, so they're not in charge. But paraphrasing, she said that was the first time they were in charge of Star Trek. Now, great, except it was Star Trek Discovery, so I wouldn't admit that. That's something I would have kept out of the special features as an editor. I would have gone, there is way too many people who could interpret this wrong, like me. Nigel brought Savage, mostly harmless. What does it got to say about Earth? Harmless? Oh, that's an old copy. Here's the edited version. Mostly harmless. Well, admittedly, it was trimmed out a bit, but hey. Ford Prefect, one of my favorite characters in literature ever. GTA's Trevor is my spiritual guide, says 6 Scale Combat. I do not know who Trevor is. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know. Albert Stebbins, diversity is great. Let's see every type of human on our screens, but please give them interesting things to do, interesting things to say, and interesting problems to solve. Good writing. That's it. Don't treat them like they're freaking kindergartners. You know what? That's really kind of freaking racist and sexist. The Mars lander is landing now. Is it SpaceX or is it NASA? Captain Robert April. Didn't Stephanie say you were watching a rocket launch the other day? I've never seen one. I would. Oh, I want to see one someday. That's on a bucket list. I want to see a rocket launch. Or you know what? The Falcon rocket's landing from SpaceX. That is some cool shit. That is some cool shit. Sean Burchard says, I think Mos Def would have made a great doctor. I think he would have made a better doctor than he did Ford Prefect. I was not happy with his Ford Prefect performance, but Mos Def, isn't he? He's from the Bay Area, right, Sean? Isn't he from East Bay? Mars Insight has landed, everybody. Mars Insight has landed. Hopefully they will not suppress all the ancient technology that's spread all over Mars. We need to get Mike Barra and Richard Hoagland on the case. NASA, they're going to Mars and digging in the dirt and doing science stuff. Thank you, Nathan Norman. Brent Newman, €2 or pounds. Hail. And thanks to the wrenches. Oh, Brent, yes, I got to thank my wrenches. I don't do that enough. I suck at that. Doomcock is so much better at me. Well, at many things, but like at that, he thanks his wrenches more than I do, and I really should do that. So Penn Farm Girl, Jody, Mary Ashmead, Brian Smart, Sculpted Leather Art by Viking Bitch, Movie Finobi, Kato Roan, Johnny Pappas. I'm missing one. Mako. God, sorry, Mako. If I'm missing anybody, shout out. Mary Ashmead, thank you, you guys. Good looking out. Especially thanks for the Stan Lee one. That was nuts. I did not expect that. And apparently there's a bunch of spam, but you know what? I didn't see any of it because my wrenches were like on it. My wrenches know to speak with my voice. They take it seriously, and they don't have to do this, so I really appreciate it. And you guys do great. I love you too, Viking Bitch. Back at you. So it's appreciated. Manweller1 says, I used to space out on Judge Dredd, Doctor Who, Babylon 5, and the Prisoners 60 version. Everything there. I mean, okay, so I'm woefully ignorant when it comes to Babylon 5. I'm going to fix that next year. but everything else you name there is pure genius. And I've heard Babylon 5 is pure genius. Some people with some people with good taste have told me that, so I trust them. Dennis Penn Farm Girl, Mecca. There's a bunch of people out there who love the Babylon 5, so I need to fix that. I've seen a couple episodes, but I just at the time it was out, I wasn't watching a ton of TV. But I'm gonna fix that. The Prisoner is currently on Amazon Prime, folks. Whoa, that is good. That is so fucking good. Judge Dredd. It kind of flip-flops who I like more, Hellboy or Judge Dredd. It depends on the day. They're both genius. Met Simon Bisley at Comic-Con at the 2000 AD booth this year, and it was rad. And Rebellion Studios is going to start making TV shows, which is the owners of 2000 AD and Judge Dredd. So that is going to be brilliant. Apparently, Chibnall and Whitaker have never watched a BBC Master of Space and Time. Master of Space and Time special. They haven't? Not surprised. Nigel Brought Savage says, Yo, Babylon 5. Quick meeting. Be right back in 20 minutes. JD Brisbois, thank you for watching, and we'll see you when you get back, man. We'll see you when you get back. I am going to take a sip of delicious Pete's coffee. Hang on. Talk amongst yourselves. I haven't watched Blake 7 yet. William Winters, that's going to get fixed as well. That's the show that people request the most. But I mean, ask Viking Bitch. It took me a while to start watching Farscape. I got to finish Farscape, and then I'm going to go to Blake 7 and Babylon 5. Farscape season 2 review coming up soon. I had to push it back because everything's been kind of nuts, but we are going to do that soon. I got a cough. Sorry. Space 1999 is awesome. We love that show. The show used to scare the crap out of me as a kid. Actually, even Star Trek when I was like little, the Star Trek creeped me out. Farscape is a great show. Farscape is a show that I should have watched when it came out. I'm probably going to end up doing this anyway, but I would have bought all the toys, bought all the comics, bought everything involved with it, gone to the conventions. It is genius, OG Spot Club. It's pure genius. Stephanie Littlepage. In the end, Comrade Sinclair brought representations of all Earth's religions, including atheism, which is like a reverse religion, I guess. Farscape is hilarious. Ben Browder had an appearance on Doctor Who with Matt Smith. He did, in A Town Called Mercy. And he was good in what was a kind of an inconsistent episode. But now that I look back at Town Called Mercy, yeah. Like I said before, I'm starting to miss Stephen Moffat, and that is listen, we all knew Chibnall was just not a good choice. And I don't think he was the first. And this is a man who stated in 2013, was quoted, according to Starburst, said he did not want the showrunner job. So I think he was talked into it because they couldn't find anybody. What I had heard from my one source is they had asked 2 or 3 people prior to Chibnall who all said no immediately. Like the words almost didn't even get out of the mouth. There was no thinking about it. They just went, nope. One of them may or may not have been Neil Gaiman. I'm not sure. Farscape is a classic. The genius of B5 was that they had all 5 seasons scripted before they even started filming. Yeah, more people need to do that. And J. Michael Straczynski, JMS, is brilliant. He actually worked with a friend of mine, William Selby, on the Twilight Zone that was from the 80s, which was very good, by the way, folks. If I remember correctly, the first episode was called Shatterday, and it had Bruce Willis in it, and Jerry Garcia did the theme song from the Grateful Dead. Blake 7 was a gritty premise for the time. Blake was accused of being a pedophile. Oh shit, that is dark, Brett. Farscape does rock, Jody. Just watch season 1 of Lex, Gary, and you'll Zev, don't bother with 2 and 4, says Mr. Viash. We'll see. Once I start something, I like to finish it. I do like to finish it. The last time nobody wanted the showrunner gig for Doctor Who, it got put on ice for 15 years. Yep, and history has repeated itself with the whole situation with the first run of the series and this run, except this one happened a lot sooner. Yeah, it's freaking sad. It's sad. Doctor Who is a show that by all rights should run forever. The problem is in today's world, shows have to get bigger and more expensive. And why don't they just go at it with, okay, this show is going to be, and I know they do a little bit, but it's going to be limited in scope and budget. But embrace what the show is. Quit trying to find new viewers. I have always had a problem with this. This is the biggest problem comics. This is why comics killed themselves, comic books, is they broke their freaking necks and ankles and their arms looking for new readers. The chasing the dragon. It's like an addict trying to get his first high back. You're not going to get them. You're not going to get them by alienating all your old fans. You know how you make new fans? Your current fans, the ones who know all the lore and stuff, they make new fans by talking to their friends. What do we love to do? What is this fucking channel based on? Telling you about good television. We are eager to get new people into the shows we like so we can talk to you about them. And we're the ones who make new fans. We shepherd the fans in, not you, especially the people who go into Doctor Who don't really know. I mean, I'm not saying Chibnall doesn't know the lore. I think he does, but Star Trek, it's clear that people don't know shit about Star Trek. Like I said, watch those special features. The fans make new fans. Okay. You don't need to make new fans. What you need to do is appease, but not, we don't have to be happy all the time. Yes, we should be challenged as a fandom, and no, we should not be making the creative decisions at all. But we wouldn't be well, we're always going to be complaining a little bit because that's fandom. But if you just respect the canon, and you don't have to adhere to it 100%. But like I said, in those Star Trek special features, man, it's lip service. They're sitting there, they're showing this Star Trek fucking bridge, which looks nothing like anything. It looks like J.J. Abrams Star Trek. It looks nothing like the 90s Star Trek, and telling me that they really paid respect to canon. I'm like, okay, you're full of shit. But not only did Straczynski have all seasons of Babylon 5 written, he had backup plans for all the main characters in the event of the actors suddenly left. That's why can't that happen more? Well, J. Michael Straczynski is like uber talented. If you Gary M. Wims asked Gary, or says Gary, if you're going to watch Babylon 5, the story to pay attention to is Londo, the Centauri ambassador. I prefer to think the entire series arc is best summed up as the rise and fall of Londo Malari. Cool. I will pay attention to that. Mark Tuttle, you are correct. To add to my fans make fans theory, new fans are made by current fans. Okay, kids, sit down. A new fan, a boy fan meets a girl fan, and then they make little fans. Okay. Yes. I've actually done that twice. So yes, you're absolutely right. Currently, Nerdrotic Jr. By the way, I think Melissa and Mrs. Nerdrotic, her name's Melissa, is might be watching at the airport. Are you guys watching? Are you watching Nerdrotic Jr.? He is currently working on the most ambitious project, a 12-year-old. Yeah, he's doing his own thing with some Marvel characters that I'm not allowed to say. I'm just going to say it's better than anything Marvel's come up with. So, if he's watching, he's going to get mad that I said anything, but I'm going to share it someday. It's really fucking cool. So yes, we make little nerds and they become big nerds and then they make little nerds. Albert Stebbins says Doctor Who premise is that a problem happens somewhere in time and space, all of time and space, and somehow Doctor Who can't find anything interesting in the whole of universal time and space. Yeah. Okay. So imagine one Christmas, everybody wakes up in the morning and they have a brand new cell phone by some company they've never heard of. And it's got a little bow on it. And all of a sudden, the episode starts out with Santa exists. What the hell? After all these years, I'm sorry, folks, if I spoilers, by the way, Santa's not real. Sorry if I ruined it for anybody. So in this world, it starts out with, does Santa exist? How did everybody get this new cell phone? And we find out that, of course, it's the fucking Cybermen, and they just use the cell phone. It's a signal, and they found a way to reprogram the human brain to become Cybermen, basically. And a talented writer can take it from there, and it happens on Christmas. There, yeah, it's been done before a little bit. So what? It's a Christmas story. I'd watch it. It has Cybermen. You're using today's technology. You use cell phones. Work into something. If you're on the phone for a certain amount of time or you use a certain app, I don't know. That's just an idea I thought of right now for Christmas. And I'm not like a writer or anything. And people in the chat, there's so many creative people here who could in 2 minutes come up with a Christmas special for Doctor Who. Out of fucking ideas, my ass. The BBC just needs to be honest. They're not doing a Christmas special for PC reasons. That's it. It's the show is sold internationally. And maybe they want to hit the Asian market and they didn't want to like have a Christian holiday in there and they wanted to move it to New Year's. Just say that. But to say you've run out of ideas is total bullshit. It's total bullshit. I was also accused. Can I make something clear? I was accused that I was stating that because I thought Muslims would get offended. No, Muslims tend to be religious and they tend to respect religious holidays. So that's my thought on that. I know. I think that maybe the BBC thinks that people would get offended, but they won't. They won't. It's usually just, elitists in their little bubble, seeing the world from a very, distorted point of view, we'll say, from a 5-star dining, Four Seasons hotel, blowjobs and limos point of view. Allegedly. They were so focused on all new, all different, they totally missed the point of Doctor Who. If they thought about caring for story forward, they could have done it better. And Jody, I love that you put all new to all different because Marvel Comics did this, was it 3 years ago now? And utterly failed. Utterly failed. 60 comic stores have closed in the last year and a half because of this experiment that they doubled and tripled down on. The data is there. Actually, if you go watch some older videos by a YouTuber named That Umbrella Guy, he breaks down comic sales, in particular with IDW and their stock because they're a publicly traded stock. You can't really see Marvel or DC because it's buried in AT&T now and Disney, but you could see it related to IDW. IDW is a pilot fish basically to the big, Marvel and DC, and they are right now they're for lack of a better term, a lost leader. They fucking their sales are in the tank, especially the all new, all different characters. It didn't work, and they tried to force them, and they're still trying to force. I mean, Captain Marvel is on her 5th #1 in the last 3 years. Nobody likes the character. Nobody wants to buy that character. Try to build up, and in trying to build her up, they made Captain America a freaking Nazi, and they didn't fix it, by the way, folks. The Captain America that's running around now in the Marvel universe is an ideal that came from the cosmic cube that got puked up by an Inhuman. Yeah, I said that right. So the Cap that our Cap, the one we were watching and rooting for this whole time, the one I have a complete run of, was a Nazi. So and that was an attempt to build up Captain Marvel and other characters. And in trying to build up the other characters, you fucked it all up. In trying to get new readers, you alienated all the readers that actually gave you money. That's what's going on with Doctor Who. That's what's going on with Star Wars. That's what's going on with Star Trek. Comics did this first. Actually, it could probably go back to games, but I don't know much about games. But where I started seeing it is in comic books. And I started seeing it years ago because I used to be a comic book retailer. Take a drink, it's a drinking game. I saw this coming as far back as 2005. And at the time, I didn't think it would get that bad. And, it was actually okay. Just you saw it progressively getting worse. And then it got better for a time. And actually, when I sold my store in 2013, that was a great time for comics. There were some really good comics coming out, some good stories. And then, I took off. I didn't read for a year. I came back and I didn't recognize Marvel anymore. I'm like, where did my Marvel go? What the hell happened? The Secret Wars thing happened. I didn't like that very much. I know a lot of people did, but that generally ruined everything. And at this point, Marvel just needs to relaunch. But how does it relate to Doctor Who? Doctor's making the same mistakes, the same exact mistakes. So they got the game plan for Marvel, but they didn't see the data at the end. They didn't see the final score. We want new readers. We want new people. You know what? And it's the whole comics thing. Again, the shit's always been diverse. Oh my God. I'll break out. I was looking at a Captain America comic book cover from the 80s that had it had Falcon, Black Panther, basically the Black Bucky on it. And this was in the 80s. Okay. So guys, gals, you're not doing anything new. I mean, the thing is, these creators of the IPs and the ones who, run these entertainment sites, no, people don't look, for the most part, the masses do not look past 3 years from now. Like everything's brand new. Like this shit's never been done before. Yikes. Billy Batson is the one to Captain Marvel. He is. Carol Danvers, Miss Marvel, I liked as a character, but, and this has been stated before, the only thing she's done of any note was die. Or almost die at the hands of Rogue. And it was a great part of Rogue's story, her turn to redemption. If you want to read about it, Avengers Annual number 10, one of the greatest comic books ever written. Seriously, one of the greatest comic books ever drawn. Okay, Michael Golden was in his fucking prime. And Rogue fights Miss Marvel. And Rogue's powers are, if she touches you, she gets your powers. And she also takes out some of your life essence. And at the time when you're reading the comic book, she kills Captain Marvel, which I was reading this when I was 10. I was like, what the fuck? And she's a villain, but then she turns good, and then she has to deal with the guilt, and then also having, part of Carol Danvers in her. It's brilliant. It's so well done. Check out the Umbrella Guys videos breaking down the Marvel numbers. They are good, and that's all the data you need to know about Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, Ghostbusters, whatever you want. You just look at that data. That's the end game. That's what's going to happen. A dead property. I have seen comics survive a lot of stuff. I survived, my store and comic books survived 2008. Okay. They survived the 90s. They survived. I mean, the worst hit they took was Seduction of the Innocent when the book came out in the Comics Code. I mean, comics used to sell in the multi millions. That hurt comic books a lot. This might actually kill comic books, which really sucks because I'm about to open a store. But I look at what Marvel has to offer now. Granted, some of it has improved. And it's going to take a while. You got to be patient. The problem is, are the readers going to be patient? No, they're going to take off. It's dying anyway. I think this just sped it up, and it sucks. More comic stores are going to close, and that's tragedy. It's a fucking tragedy. As a matter of fact, I think I stated on Comics Division. I did a couple live streams with Feisty on Comics Division's channel. You can go check them out, please. That's where I mainly talk about comics because we do TV here. But I talked to 3 store owners who are going to close their doors at the beginning of the year if they don't have like the greatest Christmas ever. So, Byrne She-Hulk was brilliant. 6 scale combat. John Byrne's run on She-Hulk and Fantastic Four are legendary. Red Dwarf is now better than Doctor Who, says Stuart Swiss. Uh, my 5-star, my first crush on a woman, which was Rogue. The Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey, the Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey. Who again, I apologize. I left the Y out of his name in my damn Patreon video. I'm sorry. Not the only thing, she gave birth to a guy she fell in love with and went to the alternative dimension with him. I don't know what that's for, but that's love right there. Yeah. The whole SJW mentality is slash and burn. It is. It's inject an IP with an ideology and a property, watch it fall to pieces, go to the next one, and then we're left there picking up the pieces. And the thing is, it's starting to get through. People are starting to wake up to what's really going on with this stuff. And it's insidious. It's deplorable, for lack of a better word. It's trying to get injected in absolutely everything we do. The Star Trek special features were covered with "In these dark times, this is the show we need." It's like, do you really think that? Do you really go to work with your little lunch pail, going to pretend for a living, thinking you're changing the world? The reason the original Star Trek did that is because the people creating it didn't think that. They just wanted to make the best show possible. Plus, they were completely into what they were doing. They didn't go there with the mentality of, this is going to look really good on my resume, which I guarantee you, most of the people involved in the show, that's their first thought. This is going to make me look better, instead of going, I'm part of Star Trek. Now, Rain, what's his name? The guy who played Harry Mudd. At least he sounded grateful. He was like, this is cool. And I can buy that he was a Star Trek fan. Like, I didn't like his portrayal of Harry Mudd. Yeah. I think that's the mentality with these properties. They've too big to succeed. It's like things achieve when they get too big, there's too many cooks in the kitchen. People want to attach their ideology because it gets the message out to the masses, and it's equal to a band selling out, and getting just too big. The Beatles. The only reason they lasted as long as they did is they stopped touring. They had to stop touring. Plus, the Beatles were very good drug addicts. They're very, very good drug addicts, and allegedly. They took lots of drugs. Come on, folks. And they stopped touring, and that's how they were able to make beautiful music before they crashed and burned. They would have crashed and burned a lot sooner. Because they got so big. I mean, if they went out and toured and were able to go to any town and get whatever drug or whatever they wanted with nobody telling them no, they would have been dead. So when something gets too big, like Doctor Who, Star Trek, Star Wars, there's just the people in control of it have no idea what it is, because board members at billion-dollar companies are not fans of anything that we're fans of. They're living a completely different life. I doubt the majority of board owner or board members at CBS watch their own product. I think they maybe watch it a couple episodes when they have to, but otherwise they are doing their job or whatever. Yeah, it's so it's left to people who can sell, and get through the whole Hollywood process politically. And those are not the best people for the job either, because generally creatives and nerds are socially inept as hell. It's our flaw. It's our flaw. And it's okay. And that's why it's awesome having a comic shop, because it was a place for you to come and talk about that stuff freely without getting judged. Now it's a lot better today than it was, back in the day, but it still was like a bar. Having the comic shop was like a bar. You have people hanging out, talk about whatever, debate, you know, fucking who's stronger, Superman or Hulk, who would win in a fight. And I mean, that's like your basic argument, but I've heard a good 3-hour debate on that, by the way, which was really good. I wish I would have recorded it. That's business. Where I work, you have to write your own goals and job appraisal. And it's the bullshitters and braggarts that rise to the top. Yep. Yep. It's the world ain't fair, man. This is not a fair world. So that's why that stuff can't succeed. Um, my suggestion for Doctor Who is farm it out to there's a production company called Anonymous Content. Anonymous Content makes Counterpart and Mr. Robot. They're probably the best production company out there, in my humble opinion. And Doctor Who would be a lot of fun. Also, maybe look away from the UK. Keep everything, keep all the writers English and stuff, but maybe get a Noah Hawley. I love Noah Hawley. Noah Hawley ran Fargo, Legion. Noah Hawley's a genius. That's who I want running my show. Safe space for nerds. Yeah, I didn't want to say safe space though, Andre. But thanks. Yes, it was a safe space for nerds, but there's no such thing as a safe space. The sweet meteor of death can kill you anywhere, unless you're deep, deep underground, but it'll probably get you there too. I'm an affable nerd. Says, what is the Matrix? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Well, I mean, I like nerds. I like you guys. There's times I'm not affable. I'm not affable all the time. Trust me. Natalie England says, at Neurotics, it's telling when a person who works for the entertainment industry has the audacity to talk about dark times. Thank you, Natalie. Fucking well said. Yeah. Oh, these dark times. Oh man, one of my cell phones is ringing. One moment. Yeah, it's like, shut up. Yeah, I mean, she mixed in gratitude too, but that's all I would be saying. I'd be the most boring interview. I'd be all, I'm on Star Trek. And the other thing I would say is I went and watched every episode in order with my notebook out. Listen to every audio book I could. I would get manuals. I would get fucking shit blueprints. If I didn't know anything, I would make sure, if I was given a year, I would make sure in that year I knew everything I possibly could. And you can cram. I didn't know shit about Game of Thrones prior to 2011. I knew it was a book. I knew who George R. R. Martin was, but the only George R. R. Martin book I had read was Fever Dream, the story Fever Dream, and that's it. And I knew him as a TV writer because he also wrote the 80s Twilight Zone, which my friend worked with him on. I got to get my friend on, Bill. Bill is an actual real life Hollywood writer. And he can explain this stuff better than anybody, like what's wrong with Doctor Who, specifically with the writing. I'm going to see him tonight and I'll hit him up. Harcourt Fenton Mudd. Sup, Gary? And the other ones in the Bay Area's finest. What's up, Willie Woodward? What's up, Bay Area? 415, yo. Rainn Wilson's Mudd is full-blown psychopath. Richard C. Carmel's Mudd was a flim-flam man. Yeah. And something I appreciate a lot more now. A lot more. I didn't like Mudd at the time, but yeah, I was young. I was young and dumb, as opposed to being old and dumb. Coffee's Hunter. I like that name. I think comics need to appeal to children under 10. That's how old I was when I started reading them. If you go for the audience over 10, you're probably aren't going to get them. Yeah, there's a way you structure a comic like you would the first Incredibles film, which appeals to adults and kids. And also that's on the shop owners. The shop owners are their own marketers, and a lot of shop owners did not cater to kids. And that's kind of that's on Diamond, that's on Marvel, that's on DC. But Marvel and DC did try to come out with kids lines, but they made the shit. They thought, well, they're kids, so they could read shittier stories. That mentality is stupid. Is stupid. So I made it an effort because I had kids to have a kids section to do kid friendly things. Got rid of all the freaking porn and Crossed and any Avatar books like that was gone because there wasn't a kid friendly store in San Francisco. Actually, I was the only. There was only two of us who owned shops in San Francisco who had kids. And so I did birthday parties and stuff. And lo and behold, my kids section would get cleaned out. I had a big bin of loose action figures that were sold for $5 an action figure. And then the more you bought, the cheaper it was. I had a spinner rack, which are worth tons of money now. God, I wish I would have brought that home. That I bought a bunch of old bronze comics and they're just repeat issues. And I think I bought 30 long boxes for $1,000. And there were good books, but it was like Super Villain Team Up #2. I had like 100 of them. So it was like an old stock. I just filled that spinner rack and it was a quarter to anybody under the age of 12. If you were over the age of 12, you had to pay $1. And it got to the point where adults were sending their kids in to buy the comics and I busted a couple of them. But yeah, so if a kid, yes, it's age discrimination. So if a kid bought the comic, it was 25 cents an adult, $1. And I did stuff like that and got to my kid's school, got involved with an auction. That's how you bring kids in. And it was honestly, after that, it was easy. And like every Saturday, which is, it was supposed to be the busiest comic store day this side of Wednesday. Our place was dead. So I was desperate to think of something and that's what it did. So every Saturday morning I had kids in there all freaking day and it was awesome. It was great. Yeah. They knocked some shit down. Yeah. They read some comics they shouldn't have. I don't care. The only thing I did get upset about is sometimes parents would drop their kids off and leave. So I had to have a little talk with a couple of them going, you don't know me. Do not leave your kids here. Well, I was just, nope. Bad parent. 503 Mofo LOL. What's that? What's up, Endless Echo? Liam Hodgetts, no need to apologize, my friend. What's 408? Oh, 408. Okay, duh. That's a zip. That's yours. Yeah, because I said 415, yo. You said Willie Woodward's down in San Jose. What's 503 area code? Endless Echo. I'm in the 415, yo. East Bay is 510. 415 is going to get cut off pretty soon, though. High Desert 004. Not surprised they dumped the kids on you. Probably hoped you would take them home. Probably. Some of those kids were a little fresh as shit, but that's all right. I did kids. Bad parent, yes. No, the kids are fun. They liven up a comic store, and it's funny because comic stores can be ours was a hangout for the socially inept. All right, so these really quiet people who I remember. There's one guy. He came to my store for a couple of years before he said a word to me, but then when he started talking, he wouldn't stop. He was cool though. He's making his own comic right now. Endless. Oh, Portland. Oh, you're in Portland. What's up? You're north of us. 902 Canadian brothers and sisters. We have our European friends here too. Down with Article 13. Yes, I have a video planned for that. I think I've read up on it. I think I know what's up. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. I at the surface, when you start reading, you're like, oh, it's not that bad. It's bad. It's very, very bad. Okay, so also we have Michael Dorn. It's kind of a slow news day, and this is not the first time Michael Dorn has said he wants to do a Worf series. Dennis shared this article with me. Okay. The Star Trek universe has been expanding at a rapid pace. Well, we haven't seen anything yet. They've talked about expanding it, but we haven't seen a finished product. We know they're writing a Picard series and they're doing an animated series. And comparatively to what we've had, yes, it's expanding fast. So the Star Trek universe has been expanding at a rapid pace with the Next Generation reboot. What? Oh boy. Yeah, Dennis warned me about this article. With the Next Generation reboot starring Pat. Who wrote this? What website is this? Theinverse.com. With the new generation, a new animated series and more. But what about the guy who's been pitching a Star Trek spinoff for years? TNG star Michael Dorn. It's finally time for the Worf-centric TV show we've been waiting for, and it's more relevant now than ever before. In these dark times, we need a show about a Klingon. What's he going to look like, Michael Dorn? Is he going to look like Tukuvma? This is, I think, perfectly timed and placed, Dorn tells Inverse. You're not stepping on anybody's toes. And I always thought the Klingon Empire was a great empire to write, and because it's Shakespearean. The series, which would star Dorn as the captain of a Klingon ship outside Starfleet jurisdiction, might also offer some interesting parallels between a changing Klingon civilization and the issues facing America today. Oh yeah, the Klingon Empire has had to evolve and change as they don't like that they are fighting it every step of the way. Dorn says they've had to introduce aliens into their society, just like our world now. It's becoming a global world where it's not just like, oh, we're Californians and that's all that matters. We're talking about something here. It affects China. The Klingon Empire has had to evolve and change, and they don't like that they are fighting it every step of the way. Okay. I wonder who he's talking about there. Very subtle, very subtle. Star Trek has never shied away from political messages. God damn, I hear that about every show. See many arguments before basing. Yes, it is not shied away from political messages, but it also knew something about subtlety and neutrality. The original series even featured TV's first interracial kiss, maybe. Now it sounds like the Klingons' violent society could be a perfect parable to the United States in 2018. Particularly when it comes to the issue of immigration. I'm sorry, did I miss all this death on the streets? I mean, aside from the normal death of streets that's in America, because it's 300 million people. Okay. Of course, this is also a sci-fi show. Is it now? Where are we at? 3-4 paragraphs in. They mention that. Well, at least they mention it. Okay. It's got to be entertaining. Oh, I'm glad they brought that up. But according to Dorn, that won't be an issue. Worf has always been the most macho of the character. Macho? Are we still using this word macho? Of the characters? What is this? 1979? Macho man of the characters. And so we're going to have battles and hand-to-hand combat. There's going to be talking, but there's going to be assassinations and coup attempts. So apparently we're going to have a show with hand-to-hand combat and talking, folks. Talking. So I'm good. I'm glad. They want to entertain. It's sci-fi. They're going to get into immigration issues, and there's going to be people talking during assassinations and coup attempts. The spin-off series would also follow a familiar episodic format. Worf is on a ship and he's going out, and all the adventures are happening with him. Every episode is like the original or Next Generation. It is self-contained episode that has a beginning, middle, and end, and it says something. As for the possibility that Worf might be making an appearance in the already announced Next Generation reboot, Dorn wouldn't rule it out, but he said that on one big condition: it can't be a cameo. I'm only interested if it's something really interesting. If the character was a major part of the franchise and whatever the show is, he's not going to just show up, beat somebody up, and then go home. Okay, so that the Next Generation reboot. Oh my God. Yeah, Dennis warned me that was bad. We need a Quark spinoff. It's a reboot. It's a reboot. I still kind of think that at the end of Star Trek Discovery season 2, we're going to find out that it's its own timeline or something. They're going to do something like that. That's what I kind of thought they would end season 1 when they come back 9 months later. The Klingon War is over. The Klingon War that they never showed. Yeah. One of the show runners also said that we're looking at the Klingon in the special features. I think it was Kristen Bear who said the Klingons have always been looked at as the bad guys, and we're gonna do something different and show a different side of them. They've always been the bad guys in all of Star Trek, huh? Really? Okay. So Worf is talking in a hallway about his feelings. God help us. Yes. There's going to be talking in the show, guys. Yeah. He's going to turn him into a soy boy. He said he's going to be macho. Macho. Oh God. I love Michael Dorn. I want Worf to come back. I don't want anything to come back under Kurtzman. I am damn it, Patrick Stewart. Why are you doing this? He's old too. I mean, like when you're 80, I know it's not like it was before, but things can turn on a dime. Like a broken bone can kill you. Exterminate, right? Halam 899 is trying to mix in some good news, and bless you for it. Doom Patrol can't wait. I can't wait either. Doom Patrol is going to rock. I think it's going to rock. It also happens to be one of my favorite all-time comics, so I'm a little biased. Okay. What's going to rock? December 8th, folks. Counterpart, stars. Get the free trial. Watch season 1. Binge it. You will not regret it. I cannot talk enough about this show. It's got the Nerdrotic seal of approval. Dennis likes it. Susan likes it. I like it. My friend Bill likes it. Doomcock likes it. Everybody likes it because it's fucking great. It's on everybody's top 10 list of best new shows on TV, best show you're not watching, and it won the Nerdrotic Rory Award for best new show of 2018, and J.K. Simmons won for best performance in 2018 by a dude. No, they have not. They haven't done these things in the Next Generation in DS9. Klingons were allies. Exactly. Kill me, says Dark Angel Ire. I don't want you to die. David 2020, thank you for the $2 super chat. There are no bad guys in Star Trek officially. Officially. A movie Fanobi, man, did I miss a super chat? Gosh damn it. I'm sorry. Gary, it's your final hours to run naked through the house. Oh, $1.99. Who says I'm wearing pants? I never said I was wearing pants. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat that you sent fucking a half an hour ago. I suck. I suck. Wow, how long we've been going? Oh man. Yeah, let's get caught up in some chat here. Plus, my camera's in my way. That's why I'm leaning, but I can't move it. That's where the lighting is the best. Looking for a video. Where did it go? Talk amongst yourselves for a second. I gotta find a new place for that camera. Okay, back to the chat, everybody. Back to the chat. I need a sip of lovely Pete's coffee. I guess that was more than a sip. That was like a chug. Okay. To reset one thing, I want to thank everybody again to all of our new subscribers. You guys are amazing. The growth is always good. We've seen a lot of growth in a lot of our shows. We've seen Dick grow quite a bit in Titans. And we've seen this channel grow, and it's a good thing. And yeah, over 2,000 subs in a little over a week is not something I ever expected to happen. So thank you. Hope to keep you guys entertained. We're a mixed bag here. I'll warn you. We do most of our stuff live. Yes, I am doing more recorded videos. We mainly review television. We do 3 live streams every week. It's Monday, Wednesday is the Nerdrotic Nooner, and then Friday Night Tights is with Susan and Dennis. Please join us. So if you ever want to, keep, and we try to cover the shows we cover. So if you'd missed one of our live streams on the show, you can talk about your show here. It's totally okay. I like to talk about what you guys like to talk about. I set the table, but it's really your show too. Counterpart was a hidden gem, says Pan Farm Girl. It absolutely was. Who's going to rock? Cleveland? Well, Cleveland rocks, except for the poor Browns. Thank you again for the $2 super chat. David 22. I don't think solo spin-offs from an ensemble cast ever really work. The only one I could think of was Frasier. Says the Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey. I agree with that. They would just have to make a new ensemble and just have him. I think it would work if it was done 15, 20 years ago. Sir Patrick needs pizza money. Maybe I can understand his logic in this is I'm 80. I don't want to just fucking sit around. I want to work. I get that. I totally get that. What is the Matrix? A $5 super chat. Thank you. Hi, Gary. Enjoy your work. What do you think long-term effects of the SJW invasion on the industry might be? We're seeing them right now. And let me reset. When I say SJW or you hear NPC, I am not just saying people on the left. We have a lot of people on the left that support this channel. This is not a left-right thing. This is a keep your political ideology. If it was right-wing politics doing the same thing, I'd say the same exact fucking thing. I want my escapism to be politics free. Now that is not always possible. So try to weave them in the story and tell a good story. Tell both sides of an argument, or write it so well that maybe you change somebody's mind. But I don't know. Art usually doesn't change my mind on anything. Usually living and experience and knowing and having knowledge change my I can't talk anymore. Changes my mind on stuff, but art is just something I usually go to for entertainment. It inspires me, it depends on the art. But as far as television, science fiction's always supposed to be taking a look at what's going on today and, bringing out 200 or 300 years and giving us that possibility. That's what science fiction is all about. But when you go into like a Star Trek Discovery, when your first priority is casting people based on their sexual organs and their skin color, and then trying to put an ideology in something that you're going to make sci-fi later, that's where it fucks up. that's where you fuck up. The first thing you should be doing is, I'm going to make a science fiction show. J. Michael Straczynski, everybody should do what he did. People don't want to take the time. No, that's the thing, is there's a lot of lazy people in Hollywood. When they say they've studied something or they took fight training, you always see those in the special features. We did a bunch of fight training. Folks, it's like a couple of hours, maybe twice. They try to make it look like he trained for 7 months on the top of a hill on one foot with a kung fu master to learn how to fight in the Matrix. No. Keanu Reeves actually did train for that show. But my example is, Rey's lightsaber skills are awful. They're terrible because she trained maybe twice for 3 hours. Maybe probably not even that. So there's not the time to put it. If they take the time, but also in the special features, they were rushed. They mentioned a couple times that they were rushed. Like that we had to compromise on this, and that's what led into some of the canon decisions. Is, well, we wanted to look it up and we wanted to see if it matched canon, but we really didn't have time. So our priority was to make it look cool. That is a quote from Nigel Page, one of the makeup guys. Is like, we didn't take the time to look at canon because we were given like this weird window. So we just decided to make it look cool, and we'll try to, reverse engineer it from there. So they were trying to reverse engineer canon to something that was already completed. If you don't understand that, I didn't either. So they're referring to the Klingons and the end result of the Klingon makeup. And their quote was, well, we'll reverse engineer canon to match this. Okay. All right. Yeah. I have 4 pages of notes from their quotes. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, they didn't listen to Green Reed. Jason Isaacs, or Chris Isaacs. What did I say? Chris Isaacs? Jason Isaacs. Why did I write Chris Isaacs? He wasn't in the fucking Star Trek Discovery. Oh, and yeah, Kurtzman said his goal was to humanize the Klingons. That was another one I liked. Oh boy. Yeah. Chris Isaacs was in Star Trek Discovery. Don't want to fall in love. Gary, Finn Jones is a perfect example of not trying to fit in with the character. Indeed. Even in season 2, when he tried, he just didn't fit. And that's another huge issue I have with Michael Burnham and these are supposed to be, they're science officers, but like they're not in shape. We have people in combat who are not in combat shape, and they don't take the time to get in shape. Like you just said, Finn Jones in season 1 of Iron Fist, that guy did not look like he'd been training for Kung Fu for his entire life. Are you kidding me? No. But you want to talk about in shape. Joel Kinnaman in Altered Carbon. There's not an ounce of body fat on that dude's body. That guy looked like an envoy fucking terrorist, straight up. And he was in somebody else's body. He was in a cop's body. I mean, like that was, he looked like Katie Sackhoff, Starbuck in Battlestar Galactica. That's what a kick-ass warrior woman looks like. Straight up, a pilot. She looks like, they showed her working out. It's what a wicked game. What a wicked game we play. Blood Eagle for Kurtzman, right? I respect Glenn Hedrick for Face Off, but not for STD. Mark Lurzith. Yeah, Glenn, that's his name. Glenn Hedrick. No, he took the job. I don't blame him for taking the job. And then he suckered Star Trek Discovery's powers that be. He upsold him. I swore he sounds like a great salesman. I mean, dropping his company name 3 times on special features for another property, and then they let it go through the edit room. That's very unusual. I have edited special features, and that is the one thing we are told: do not sell anybody else's shit in our stuff. And that's pretty much how it was told to me. That's almost word for word. Don't sell anybody's shit in our stuff. In other words, blur out fucking uh, uh, any kind of a brand, anything. If somebody drops a company mention, you edit out that word, even if it's within mid sentence. Like, yeah. Albert Stebbins. It's about time for Chibnall to get his own Star Wars trilogy. I think it is. He really subverted our expectations. Kristen Bear did too. Uh, I did a bad thing. I saw what you did there, Chris Persia. You wrote Chris Isaac. You did a bad thing. Now I'm thinking about toasters. I'm thinking about toast, Bread Newman. Avocado toast. I was waiting for the Wicked Game reference, right? The actress for Donna Troy has done a great job for herself in training because she puts her training on Instagram. I don't want to be a fanboy of the character. I'm just giving a point. Well, you follow her on Instagram. You're being a bit of a fanboy, but that's okay. We like fanboys here. We're nerds. You don't have to apologize for being a fanboy. Yeah, she looks like freaking Donna Troy. Like, that's the best casting in the show. She looks like Donna Troy is drawn. She looks like how George Perez would draw Donna Troy. So well done. Well done on that one. Christ, we had 200 people watching, man. That is new and cool. Oh, and yes, Divid 22 gave us another super chat. In cynical times, we need Star Trek and Doctor Who. We do. We absolutely need them. We need them to be hopeful and fun and not a reflection of I would say these are cynical times. I would go with it. I'd be okay with saying they're cynical times. I don't think that's too much of a stretch, but dark times, no, these are not dark times. This is another day in the life of the world. Okay. Those people saying that have no effing idea what dark times are. I'm sure there's some people going through some personal dark times right now, but generally speaking, we are not going through dark times. Has anybody sat in a gas line lately? I remember sitting in those when I was a kid. Yeah. The late 70s were dark times. The Depression was dark times. People were starving in America. There's nobody starving in America that doesn't do it by choice, or if there is, then it's due to neglect. It's due to neglect. Did I thought maybe I didn't. Hang on. Oh, I didn't. I'm sorry. The Hunky Chunky Funky Monkeys. Here, I got to get my windows moved. There we go. That's better. I apologize, the Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey, for €2 or pounds. Is it pounds or euros? BBC meddling means scripts are now doctored poop. They are. They are. Yeah, that was weird. That's why I did the video on that, with Neil Gaiman coming out and saying something about Doctor Who when he hasn't worked on the show for a couple years and he's like doing really good. It's like, why bring up and throw shade? Oh, now I know. It's all connected, folks. The entertainment media shills, but sometimes the people they're interviewing like to send little messages out. And if you have some experience in life and in the industry, you can understand them. You can understand them. All right, folks. I'm starting to freaking lose it. I mean, I don't know how Doomcock does 5 hours. Man, that is freaking talent. Like I get to 3 and I start getting, maybe I should eat like, I generally don't eat anything big before I start. Maybe I should start doing that. The coffee is enough. These are our great patrons now. Matthew Matson has spelled wrong, so I'm sorry. It says Matthew Matson or something like that. So sorry, Matthew. And we also, wow, we had a lot of super chats today too. And I'll read your chat while the credits are going on. Paraphrasing the American dream, dusty roads, right? If it was dark times, it was a dark time in the Empire. Fasting endows power. What is the Matrix? That is deep and true. The only Marvel shot I enjoy is Daredevil. Those hallway fight scenes are, yes, dude, those hallway fight scenes are the antidote to feelings in hallways. Just think about Daredevil kicking 5 guys' ass in a hallway. Kurtzman should commit seppuku, metaphorically speaking. Also, the last Fantastic Four movie. Oh, yeah. He drinks coffee and prepares. The last Fantastic Four movie, Fan Four Stick, was terrible. And I did see it in the theaters and paid money for that. You know what? I don't, Tim Story's Fantastic Four movies are fun cartoons, fun Saturday morning cartoons. Doomcock is an all powerful overlord. He is. I think we're doing an Exozone this Saturday, folks. I need to, Doomcock announced that on somebody else's stream. We need to iron some stuff out. And of course, things could happen between now and then. So this is tentative, very tentative, but it looks like Saturday we have an Exozone. Where and when, I will let you know. And I will also give the disclaimer that, oh, by the way, right here, what you're seeing is what you get with our Patreon. You saw the comic books and the toys. That's a representation of what you get if you join our Patreon. There's also a $1 level. You can join for as little as $1 and get all the exclusive content. So back to the Exozone. The Exozone disclaimer is we don't present anything as facts. We do it for fun. We talk about UFOs, conspiracies, ancient civilizations, Bigfoot, and super intelligent shades of the color blue, and the occasional drug deal gone bad. And that is, it's done for fun. I know some people don't like this stuff, and we absolutely respect that. I know you come to our channels for pop culture and fun, and don't worry, that will never take over our channel. This is something Doomcock and I, and maybe others will join, we don't know, do for fun. Do strictly for fun once in a while. So if you want to come and hang out and get weird, you come to the Exozone. Kato, he was supposed to be in there. Unless that's like, maybe I pulled up my old one. No, I remember putting him on. So I'm doing another one anyway. I'm missing a bunch of people on it, Kato, because we got new people. But you can DM me that too. You don't have to shout it out in the chat, put me on blast. But thanks, man. You are welcome, Brent. Thank you. I know, Mark Lizard. I mentioned that in the recap. I wish I could isolate that when they're dunking the witch and Ryan comes out and goes, "This is too dark for me." It's like, oh, meta. Is Exozone happening today? No, not today. Saturday. Saturday, December 1st. Tentatively. We gotta dot some I's and cross some T's. And so once you see it hit my schedule, and once you see Doomcock announce it on Twitter, it is official. It will be official. When he's going to do that, I don't know. But yeah, it's not 100% for sure. Okay, so these are the super chats. Thank you so much to Sculpted Leather Art by Viking Bitch for $2, Steele Johnson for $2, Brent Newman for 10 pounds. Damn, that's awesome. Thanks, Brent. Chris Persia for $5 Canadian, Tamarocks for 50 goddamn dollars. Damn it, Tamarocks. Thank you. Brent Newman for £2 or euros, not sure which. Movie Finobi for $1.99. Divid 22 for $2. The Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey for €2. What is the Matrix for $5? And Divid for $2. Thank you so much, everybody. And again, 9,000 subs, man. 9,000 subs is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I did not expect to get there. 10 is right around the corner. That's a pretty decent milestone, I'd have to say. And thank you all for joining. Let's go down the list here. We got, is it possible to put timestamps on your live streams after you're finished for people who don't have the time to spend 4 hours watching your stream? It is possible. I'm sorry you don't have time. It's a really good background noise while you're working. Occasionally, if I have the time to go through there and do it, yes, it is totally possible. I will try. I don't think I'm going to have time today, though. I could probably do it tomorrow, but certainly. Thank you, Mary Ashmead and Mark Lizeth, Cato Roan, Persian Scribe. What's up, man? 90,000 something. Oh, man, that'd be too much. Mr. B Natural, Philip A. Debick, Andre Merrick. What will happen at 10K? Ooh, that's a good question, Andre. I'll have to think about that. Something special, something wonderful. Divid 22, Cato Roan. What is it? Providency. Hope I said that right. Mark L. What is the Matrix? Chris Persia, Halam 899, Brett Newman, KSSS, Kiss, Captain Robert April, Penn Farm Girl, Sean Beckard. Is it Beckard? OG Spock Love, Tim F. What's up, Tim? Richard Bussetti, JD Brisbos, Brent Newman. I probably said Maverick MX. What's up? Six Scale Combat, the Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey. What is the Matrix? Nigel Brott Savage, who is a patron, who I'm going to put on the video very soon. James Hardy, Artemis Over Easy. What's up? Philip A. Dimmick, Natalie England. And Natalie, you are one of our patrons too. I need to add you. Yeah, there's a couple I need to add to the video, which will be added next time. I am promise. And thank you for joining our Patreon, Natalie. I really appreciate that. I am very thankful. And Andre is a new patron too. Artemis Over Easy, I see, is a patron. Chris Persia. Yes, I'll put you guys in the description too. How about I do that? So everybody gets their props. Ken Jack Ben, what is up? Ken Jack Ben, coffee is a good appetite suppressor if you do not wish to eat or drink coffee. I love coffee. Dr. Venkman. It's always good to see a Ghostbuster in the house. Rolocat. Let's see who else is in here. We get down to the participants. And I think Mark L. Trying to see if anybody I missed. Orton Images. Welcome. Are you new? Are you new in the chat? What is the Matrix? I said Tanya Louise, Stephanie Littlepage. Of course, the great Stephanie Littlepage. And that is all I can see right now. Oh, wait. Did I forget somebody? And Mr. B Natural and Mike Chambers and Mastercam. See, I knew I forgot somebody. All right, cool. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. Please go to nerdrotic.com and you can check out our live schedule there on the right. Please like, share, and subscribe if you like what you see. Really appreciate it. You can follow us on Twitter at Nerdrotics. Dennis is at DeForce. Susan is at Susan on the Ledge. Our next show will be, I'm going to have two videos. I'm going to have a Star Trek and a Doctor Who video out the next 48 hours. And then the next show we're covering is The Gifted. There's 2 more episodes of The Gifted. Those are going to be recorded videos that I'm going to premiere. So our next live show will be the Nerdrotic Nooner on Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. And everybody, may the small folks sing songs of your greatness.